Metasploit is a powerful tool in cybersecurity. It helps find weaknesses in systems and networks, used by security professionals and ethical hackers. Metasploit is crucial for building stronger defenses. It provides a platform for testing and learning. Created by H.D. Moore in 2003, acquired by Rapid7 in 2009, available in free and commercial versions. The Metasploit framework is more than just a collection of exploits. It is a complex and well-organized system. Think of it as a toolbox for penetration testers. This toolbox contains many different tools, each with a specific purpose. The framework itself provides the structure. It allows these tools to work together seamlessly. It manages tasks like handling connections, encoding data, and generating reports. Understanding its architecture is the first step to using Metasploit effectively. At its core, the Metasploit framework is built around modules. Modules are small pieces of code that perform specific tasks. There are several types of modules, which we will explore in detail later. These include exploits, payloads, auxiliary modules, and more. The framework provides a consistent way to use these modules. The modular design also means Metasploit is highly extensible. New modules can be easily added by the community or by individual users to address new vulnerabilities or add new functionalities. Metasploit also includes various interfaces for users to interact with it. The most common is a command line interface. The framework also supports automation through scripting and can be integrated with other security tools. Exploit modules are a central part of the Metasploit framework. These modules contain code designed to take advantage of a specific flaw. When an exploit module is successfully run against a vulnerable target, it usually gives you some level of control over that target. Metasploit has a vast, constantly updated library of exploit modules. Each exploit module in Metasploit is carefully crafted. It targets a precise vulnerability, often identified by a CVE, Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, number. Before running an exploit, you need to configure its options. These options might include the target's IP address, ROASTs, the port number, RPort, and any other parameters specific to that exploit. Setting these options correctly is crucial for the exploit to work as intended. Metasploit categorizes its exploits based on the type of system or software they target. You can find exploits for Windows, Linux, macOS, and various network devices. Using an exploit module involves several steps. Always test responsibly and with proper authorization. Payloads are the code that runs on the target system after an exploit is successful. Think of the exploit as the delivery mechanism, the way to get through the door. The payload is what you do once you are inside. Payloads determine the type of access or control you gain over the compromised system. Metasploit offers a wide variety of payloads, each designed for different purposes. Choosing the right payload is just as important as choosing the right exploit. Metasploit payloads can be broadly categorized into singles, stagers, and stages. Single payloads are self-contained. They include the exploit and the shell code in one package. Stage payloads are more common and flexible. They work in two parts, a stager and a stage. The MeterPreter payload is one of Metasploit's most powerful and popular payloads. MeterPreter is an advanced, dynamically extensible payload. It resides entirely in memory on the target system, leaving very few traces on the hard drive. MeterPreter provides an interactive command shell. Understanding the different types of payloads and their capabilities is essential for effective post-exploitation activities. Beyond exploits and payloads, Metasploit offers other crucial module types. Auxiliary modules are used for tasks that don't directly involve exploiting a vulnerability to gain remote access. These tasks can include scanning for open ports, identifying services, fuzzing, denial of service attacks, or gathering information. Auxiliary modules are versatile tools for reconnaissance and other supportive actions during a penetration test. Encoder modules are essential for evading detection. Encoders modify the payload's code to change its signature, making it harder for security software to recognize it. NOP or no operation modules are more specialized. NOPs are instructions that do nothing. In exploit development, they are often used to fill space or to ensure that a payload is correctly aligned in memory. Post-exploitation modules are used after you have successfully compromised a system and have a session, like a MeterPreter session. These modules help you gather more information, escalate privileges, pivot to other systems, or maintain access. The extensive library of post-exploitation modules in Metasploit allows for deep interaction with compromised targets. So there you have it, a little dive into the world of Metasploit's auxiliary, encoder, NOP, and post modules. Getting Metasploit up and running is the first practical step. The installation process can vary slightly depending on your operating system. Metasploit is primarily developed for Linux. Distributions like Kali Linux or Parrot OS come with Metasploit pre-installed and pre-configured. This is often the easiest way for beginners to start. These distributions are specifically designed for penetration testing and digital forensics. If you are using one of these, you can usually just open a terminal and type to launch Metasploit. If you are not using a specialized Linux distribution, you can still install Metasploit. Rapid7 provides installers for Linux, Windows, and macOS. You can download these from their official website. The installation process is generally straightforward. Just follow the instructions provided by the installer. On Windows, it will set up the necessary environment and services. On Linux, it might involve adding a repository and using your package manager. Once Metasploit is installed, some initial setup and configuration might be necessary. The first time you run, it might perform some initial database setup. Metasploit uses a PostgreSQL database to store information. Keeping your Metasploit installation updated is also crucial. Now let's walk through a basic exploit. This example is for educational purposes only. You must have explicit permission to test any system that you do not own. For practice, it is best to set up your own lab environment. You can use virtual machines for this. A common target for beginners is an older unpatched operating system like Windows XP or an intentionally vulnerable virtual machine like Metasploitable 2. First, you need to identify a vulnerability on your target system. You might use a vulnerability scanner like Nmap with NSE scripts, or an auxiliary scanner module within Metasploit itself. For this example, let's assume you have identified a target running a service with a known vulnerability, such as MS08067, on an unpatched Windows XP machine. Once you have a target and a potential vulnerability, open. Use the command to find an exploit for it. For example, Metasploit will list matching modules. Next, select the exploit module. After selecting the exploit, you need to see what options are required. Type. You must set to the IP address of your vulnerable target machine. Once you are comfortable with basic exploits, you can explore advanced Metasploit techniques. One powerful feature is scripting. Metasploit allows automation through resource scripts. These are text files containing a sequence of commands. You can write scripts to automate repetitive tasks, such as scanning a range of hosts and attempting specific exploits. MeterPreter itself also supports scripting, allowing you to automate post-exploitation actions. Pivoting is another critical advanced technique. Often, your initial compromised host is not your final target. Pivoting involves using the compromised host as a stepping stone to reach other systems within the internal network. Metasploit provides tools to set up routes through a MeterPreter session. Custom module development is a hallmark of a truly advanced Metasploit user. While Metasploit has thousands of modules, you might encounter a new vulnerability or a unique situation where no existing module fits. Metasploit's Ruby-based architecture makes it relatively straightforward to write your own exploit, auxiliary, or post-exploitation modules. Evasion techniques go beyond simple payload encoding. Using Metasploit comes with significant ethical responsibilities. It is a powerful tool capable of causing real harm if misused. Ethical hacking, or penetration testing, requires strict adherence to a code of conduct. The primary rule is to always obtain explicit, written permission from the system owner before conducting any tests. Unauthorized access to computer systems is illegal in most jurisdictions and can lead to severe penalties. Your actions should always be aimed at improving security, not causing damage or disruption. Respect privacy and confidentiality of data you might encounter. Understanding the legal framework surrounding penetration testing is crucial. Always operate within the agreed-upon scope of an engagement. Metasploit is an invaluable tool for learning and practicing cybersecurity skills. By using it in a controlled lab environment, you can understand how vulnerabilities are exploited and how attackers operate.